Beato still on the hill, still a comfortable margin, but can't get too comfy at this point.
I often say, Steve, 8-6 in a gamer 9-ball pool very much feels like hill. I know it won't feel like that for Abdullah out there because he's the player on 6, but you can soon get to 8-all and be in a position just to play that last rack. So this is very much in the balance still, this match.
And it's really the psychology of it, isn't it? Because you look at the numbers and you realize how things could swing depending on this one rack, and that's the challenge, to stay in the moment.
Yeah, this is table 1, David Alcaide and Kenichi Uchigaki from Japan.
Coming up momentarily, second match of the day on table 1 after world #1 Francisco Sanchez Ruiz easily beat John Webber of the US 9-1. Now for continued coverage of Carlo Beato and Abdullah Ashmari, you can watch on our YouTube channel. Meanwhile, we will pick things up with the start of the Alcaide Uchigaki match. David Alcaide, the 44-year-old from Spain, 2-time World Pool Masters champion, 3-time member of the European Mosconi Cup squad. And that's also a big storyline to watch throughout the week, the automatic spots for both Team Europe and Team USA for the Mosconi Cup that will be handed out at the end of this US Open in Atlantic City. So, Carl, Alcaide and Uchigaki almost set to commence here. How do you see this one unfolding on day 1?
Yeah, I mean, obviously on paper, you feel like Alcaide's coming in with confidence, so you feel like he's the favourite, but Japan has produced a lot of world 9-ball champions. I'm sure these two have met, so it's not going to be a complete pushover. Powerful break, 9-ball's going towards the side, it's not going to go. And he's faced with a lot of problems here on the 1-ball.
It's always going to be a challenging shot. Now Alcaide will have his first opportunity here of this match. Semi-finalist at the World Championships 2 years ago. First ever Spanish player to represent Team Europe at the Mosconi Cup.
Just having a good look at this one because he'd like to get close to the 3, but it doesn't really look like he can, so he's going to thread the cue ball in a position where I'm going to say it goes through the 6 and the 7, but he's decided to come round. Pace needs to be good and it's a little short, so this would be very thin now. Maybe this is too thin for hold position for the pink 4. That's the problem. It's not just about potting the balls, 9-ball. Got to play from lowest ball to the next one. Always got to shoot the lowest ball on the table. And if you pocket another ball after you've hit the lowest ball, you stay at the table.
Doesn't feel like he's comfortable with this shot.
No, I think David's a better player with the shot clock as well. He can play both games. He can play with the shot clock, and obviously he can play without one, but I think the shot clock helps him just make the decision a little quicker, and that's a nicely done safety shot.
The shot clock will be introduced later on in the week, but these opening few matches on the first few days will allow the players to compete at their own pace.
Looks like he's going for the jump cue. Yeah, so he's going airborne. Going to try and hit one of the edges here, probably the right inside edge as Kenichi looks at the ball just to get distance. Lead 3 ball down the bottom and the cue ball up towards the top.
Any thought to play off the rail on this shot instead?
Yeah, at first I thought that was definitely the option. Yeah, this is not too bad. He's going to try and pop this ball. Played it with pace, 2 rails. This will work out nice as long as he doesn't scratch. Yep, he'll be delighted with the outcome of that.
It's the benefit of an opportunity like that. You have a shot at potting the ball, but in the end, it winds up as a default safety shot.
He's always looked a little light of pace. Don't think he'll play the cut. If he attacks the table, he would play the bank, but he might not fancy it. He may just chip off the right edge of this ball. Try and get the cue ball in a similar position to it is now. Well, we was watching a little bit of table 2 earlier on. Carlo Biardo, the former champ, had a little scare in that match. He's come through with a 9-6 win over Abdullah Al-Shamari. He did go for the bank. And he's got second prize there. Alcaide's going to have to kick at this off the left rail, try and pocket the 3 ball.
They have spent a lot of time here pocketing just 2 balls. This has been quite the back and forth affair here in this opening rack.
Very good at kicking the ball, Alcaide. He is known for that type of skill on the circuit. This is a little tester though. Looks quite easy on your TV screens, but this is a lot thinner. And you also know when you float this ball in, if you catch any of them points, you're going to leave it over the pocket and probably lose the rack. Judge that one well. This will go in the side pocket. Got to make sure he doesn't flick the 9 ball though. So you want to pop this ball clean. If he flicks the 9 will just go on that rail and make it difficult later on in the rack. At the minute, I think the 9 does go in the side pocket. Oh, he's lost a cue ball here. He's going close to his work. He's going very close to his work. Decision time. These are awful shots when you're trying to pop the ball. Very close to the object ball. You've always got to hit it thinner than your sort of first aim when you get down. That's why you see the players doing these little funny adjustments. It's hard to see what other shot he could play. Oh, that's nice, isn't it, Steve? What a shot that is.
That was very well done. I mean, the angle and the thin quality of that shot had to be so precise. And now setting himself up here to take the early lead.
It's all about momentum. It's Q Sports. This rack could have been so different, but it's Alcaide who takes the opener.
Well, it was a chess match on a pool table in the early going, but then Alcaide able to pick up the pace here late, run the remainder of the rack, and he takes the opening rack here and grabs the early lead on Uchigaki. Second match of the day here on table 1, as Alcaide's fellow Spaniard, the world #1 Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, won in convincing fashion 9-1 over American John Weber in the opening match. '46th U.S. Open Championship, and some valuable points and rankings set to be allocated for the 30th anniversary of the Mosconi Cup as this tournament unfolds throughout the week.
Good break off to start rack 2. Got to look at this 2 ball in the side pocket. And if you can pot this ball and avoid cannoning another ball, that be it the purple 5 and the red 3, off this bottom rail, and the cue ball will go back through the same gap to play for the red 3 in this bottom right corner pocket. That's what you'll be looking at. Collisions have not helped Mr. Alcaide. Now he's forced with a tough long pot off the rail.
And not the lead that he had wanted.
How well did he strike that ball, by the way? Straight in the heart of the pocket.
That was pure. Now a tempting opportunity here.
Cue ball needs to slow down. That was all caused because he potted this ball a little too thin. See how he went in off the jaw?
Did not give him much of a margin there. He barely hang on.
Needs an angle on this shot. Yeah, he had one, so he's gone forward. So a couple of scary moments. A fantastic long pot. Now he's back in good position.
Well, after so much back and forth earlier in the first rack, Alcaide with an opportunity to not even allow Uchigaki to get on the table here in rack number 2.
Yeah, Alcaide is the type of player where he really plays himself into a match. He might start off a little slow and get up and down quite a lot on certain shots, but what you'll see as the lead starts to climb bigger is a bit more of a brisk step on the Spaniard's walk.
It's interesting, as you mentioned earlier too, he's the type of player who plays better with a shot clock, because he knows he has to hit a shot within a set amount of time. He doesn't have the opportunity to think and to ponder, and sometimes that can be the worst thing for a player. And now he is into more of that rhythm, that pacing that he's known for. And he runs it for a 2-0 lead. David Alcaide settling down here in rack number 2. And the 44-year-old from Spain with a promising start here on this first day at the US Open. Always such a long event. As we begin on a Monday, we end on a Saturday, so the players coming in, practicing over the weekend, and then pacing themselves throughout the week. But it is a grind. It is a long journey. It all begins here today.
So let's keep an eye on the yellow 1 ball. And there it goes. Shot of the blue 2, problems on the red 3 ball. He has no shot to break the balls out. So much so, decided not to play the pot. Felt there was no value.
he was going to eventually have to hit a safety shot anyway, so decided to put Uchigaki in a difficult position here off the jump.
Looks like you can just get the blue toe on the top rail. Use the purple 5 somehow. Get the cue ball down the bottom. Maybe behind the 8 ball. Oh, this is very adventurous. Look at this for a shot, by the way. This is a contender for shot of the day so far.
Oh,
wow.
Absolutely.
I mean, just got a little bit lucky, don't get me wrong, because the ball flicked the 6 and still went in, but to even dare to attempt that shot.
It may have needed that skim off the 6 as well to ensure that he got the pot, but what a terrific leave for the red 3. And now a chance for Uchigaki to, for the first time in this match, build some momentum of his own.
Not ideal on this 8 ball. Can he still go forward off 2 rails? Cue ball slightly running away from him, so maybe have to go off 3 or 4 rails. Hit this ball with pace. Decided to play it off the 2 just to leave this shot on the 9. Fair enough.
Uchigaki is on the board as he halves the lead of the Spaniard David Alcaide. And Carl, I'm curious, now in retrospect, do you think David regrets not potting the 2 when he had the opportunity?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. I think just the fact that he knew he couldn't get down near the 3, David decided it wasn't for him. Kenichi got a little bit fortunate. Got the ball still wet in the pocket. But the main thing is he's won his first rack. On table number 2, America's Shane Wolford started out his match against Angelo Labranti. Shane's desperate to try and qualify for Team USA for the Mosconi Cup. Never played in the Mosconi Cup. There was talk of him maybe playing last year. Didn't make it. This year, he's desperate to make that team. You see the difference in the breaks from both players though. David's made the 1 ball on both occasions. Kenichi's made a random ball.
They call him the Tokyo Sensation, the 54-year-old who next year will mark his 30th year as a pro. And trying to level this first round match.
That's okay. Well, we said David's good at kicking. Boy, does he need to find something here. So much so, doesn't really look like there's a kick shot available. Is he trying to swerve around the purple 5 a little bit? He is. That's why he's raised the cue up. He's just trying to hit this 2 ball on the right hand side, bump it over towards the green 6. See how he hit it too full? That's not what he played.
Not much for Uchigaki to play with.
This is a nice shot. Hit the 2 full. Cue ball will stick in this area, but it's hard for David to get the 2 ball away. And I wonder if he can go off the rail and hit the left side of the 2. I think that's what he's looking at. Yeah, it's very tight. If he can, he's trying to pot this ball. Yeah, he knows it's tight, so we'll see.
Maybe just enough of an opening for Uchigaki to have a shot here. The sequence reminiscent of what happened back in rack number 1 when they were jockeying early on through the first couple of shots.
Okay, you can pop this ball. The cue ball's natural path is where when you pot a ball in the pocket with no spin, where does the cue ball go? That's actually very important for the sport. So if you're an amateur pool player, you'd be working on that. And it looks to me it's going towards the green 6 or the 9 ball definitely. So David will have to play this with some sort of spin to avoid contact. He may even just take a gamble. Because the pot's quite difficult, often you'll see a player just pot the ball and hope it's their day, but let's have a look. Doesn't play it with spin. Played it slow. He's not even played the pot. He's refusing a few pots so far. This is what the smaller pocket does. It just makes you sometimes maybe a little bit too negative. I believe he could have potted that ball and took a gamble.
That's what he did on the last rack with the 2 ball as well.
Just feel like at some point you've got to take a bit of a gamble, because Kenichi is not scared of playing a bank shot. Another good bank there, and now it's another opportunity. This is not easy by any stretch. This is quite thin, there's distance. The purple 5 is near the pink 4, so the cue ball's got to stay up and sort of top end of the table. Anywhere around the centre spot would be lovely. Oh, he's done well here. I like this. He's showing us he's not scared of playing David here.
On that last rack, remember, Alcaide didn't pocket the 2, never got back on the table. could very well be the same situation in back-to-back racks here.
This is a tester. It's got to go in clean. Oh, it's nice, this. I like it. I wonder if Kenichi goes on to pot these remaining 3 balls and make it 2-2. I wonder if we're going to see David attack the table a little more. Is he playing a little bit too reserved?
Maybe thinking too much or even outthinking himself. He certainly has been cautious. It's always the calculation, right? Is the cautious play the smart play? And sometimes in the moment, it's not always easy to see that. Tied at 2. Alcaide took the first 2 racks. Uchigaki has captured the last 2. And here are some of the shots and some of the matches taking place on the other tables here around the facility here at Harrah's Atlantic City. On day number 1, among the early matches, Donnie Mills winning 9-2 in a runaway in his first round match.
Yeah.
Another one-sided match, 9-3, and that's so often what you do see on the first day of the competition in the race to 9. 9-2 for Immonen. It's a race to 9 here in the early going. Double elimination down to the last 6-4. Single elimination after that, but those were some of the matches that have just been completed. Also, world number 1 from Spain, Ruiz, with a 9-1 win over John Webber of the U.S. But here on table number 1 in the second match of the day, it started out as a 2-rack lead for Spain's David Alcaide. It is now even at 2 apiece. Uchigaki with wins in the last 2.
Nineball's going close to the side pocket.
Ooh.
A little more base. It would have been a golden break. But again, the break from Kenichi's been a bit of a problem. Not making that 1 ball. Alcaide's got issues here. He's got the push out available. If you are new to 9-ball pool, the next shot after the break, the incoming player or the player at the table can play what we call a push out. So you can roll a ball on another ball. I wonder if he's going to pot the 9-ball here. If he does, the 9-ball spots. Yeah, he's doing that because he's scared the 9-ball's over the pocket. If it had rolled out into another position, Kenichi may have taken a risk to try and pop the 9 to win the rack. So on the push out, you can do what Davy's done. That is totally legal. Kenichi comes to the table. He has the option of playing this shot or just giving it back to David.
And that's what he's going to do. He is going to put it back in Alcaide's hands. You like this call?
Yeah, I like the shot from David as well. You know, there's no point in leaving that 9 over the side because at some point somebody's going to have a go and swipe at it. So get it back on the spot. and play from here. I think David didn't really think about the cue ball too much on the push out. He just made sure he potted the 9. So the fact that Kenichi was jacked up, that's why he's put David back in. Now he has left the pot here. This does go down the rail. No real positional shot for the blue 2. So if he pots this ball, the cue ball's kind of coming to the right hand side of the table. But he's not scared of playing a bank, so he may try and play the bank. Well, I don't think the 3 ball, you can see there's not much of a gap there, so maybe that shot is not available. Gonna need a little bit of luck here. That's okay for David.
All 9 still on the table. Uchigaki without a pot on the break. His last break, he potted the 3. So not a lot of consistency so far from the Japanese player.
Pretty smart shot there. Made sure he found that angle for the 1 ball. Use the purple 5 to hold the cue ball. David's got a nice shot available here, I think. I think he can bank the 1 ball off the bottom rail. Try and get it back in a straight line up towards the top rail. Cue ball will slide off the 7 ball with a possible hook behind the blue 2 and the 8 ball. That's what he played, but complete misjudgment on the 1. Is it far too thin? Chance. Does it go past the green 6? If it doesn't, it may sneak in the right centre past the 3. Things are just not opening up for either player at the moment.
And not often we see Morocco with this many shots this deep without at least 1 pot.
Gone wrong, but I don't believe David can get to the pot. He can't. Yeah, he's showing his frustration there as well. queuing off the rail. 8 ball. Does it make it a big pocket? Not really. It may skim off it. Very straight as well. That's why he's played it quite soft. Oh, what a shot. He did skim off the 8. Now this is a good chance.
It was really good pace. And finally we get the first putt of this rack. And he got the skim off the 6 in the last rack that he won. Ooh.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Because the 1 ball he played was a lot harder than this blue 2. That was going into a more generous pocket rather, and you could see he hit it way too far down the left rail. Alcaide's got work to do it. Not only has he got to pot this thin ball, he's got to try and get on the 3 ball. And that's not easy. Oh, this is okay. Oh, I thought it was okay.
Oh, just a couple of more revolutions than he wanted.
Yeah, he's come round to have a look at the 4, so that tells me he can certainly see the right edge of this 3. So worst case, he could play into the corner, but I think he can still play in the side.
Control and now a straight on shot for the 3.
David is struggling. Nothing's coming easy.
You ever have those matches and do anything in particular to try to get yourself out of it, to try and get yourself into that flow?
Yeah, I think sometimes you just go to the table, everything lands perfect, all your positional shots, all your pots go in, and other times you kind of just got to grind your way through. I don't believe you're going to play a full tournament playing your A game, so this is just more to battle your way through, keep your concentration, get the win. There you see again, it's another good pot. Cue ball's got away from him. Didn't mean to hit the 9 ball. And now this is the toughest shot of the rack. This is horrible. I think he's going to have a go at this ball. Could shoot it in the top left corner with right hand spin, so when it hits the right side rail, it hits the top rail and comes back down. Taking his time over this one. I'm wondering if he's thinking, should I attack this ball or is he going to play another safety shot? does he play it in the top right corner? But the cue ball's going to spin 3 rails near where he's looking. That feels like a tougher pot than playing in the top left though.
A lot of time here. He just cannot get comfortable with this shot, and also knowing that we're getting deeper into the rack now and any mistake could be costly.
I'd like to see him attack this ball though. I think he's going to really go for it. Because if you make it and clear the table, that's the kind of thing that could give you that little lift you need. Oh, he went for the bank shot. Okay. Oh, he's got to be happy with this one. That could have landed anywhere.
I mean, that's about as good of a leave as he could have hoped for, being as aggressive off the rail and trying to pot that ball.
Well, I believe that's the 3rd bank shot Kenichi's made, and he's got to look at the 7. What a shot that is.
With the bounce too. Definitely a robust effort.
After playing the combination here, the cue ball should just bump into the 9, hold for the 7. Nicely done. What a bank shot he has just played. And Alcaide's struggling. What's this off the rail though? Yeah, you don't have to believe in yourself these. Still fancy yourself to pot it, but if this was off the rail a few more inches, this is unmissable.
That's a fine comeback from Kenichi Uchigaki of Japan, down 2-0. He has run off 3 racks in a row and now leads for the first time in this first round match with the Spaniard David Alcaide. Well, we've seen so many one-sided matches here, as you would expect on this first day of competition. This has to be one of the most interesting matches that has unfolded so far in the early hours. Well, Alcaide has really been grinding. Perhaps a few shots he would like back. He's been conservative at times. And well, Carl, do you expect him to change his approach now that he's fallen behind for the first time?
I think he's got to, I really do. I think he's playing a bit too slow. Looks indecisive on a lot of shots. And maybe a hair negative. I mean, yeah, he did go for the bank shot, but if you're going to go for the bank shot, why don't you go for the pot? Anyway, it's this man breaking who's got the lead. And now he's found the 1 ball, but I think he's going to scratch. Ooh, sometimes the spin pulls it into the pocket, but it stayed dry. Trying to hide the cue ball behind the 8. It was a good effort. Even if he's left the edge, still a good shot he played. All the balls are open, so this is the type of rack where first player who gets the opportunity will feel like winning the rack, clearing the table. There's no clusters. Didn't get the hook, but the main thing is don't leave the potting angle. So you can see the right edge.
Alcaide was the only one who had a break and run. That was back in his second victory. But since then, it's been quite the battle.
Needs a bit of help here. This is the type of shot just off straight, not easy to get on the red 3 because you've not got much of an angle, and when you've been struggling, these are the ones that you can miss. Looks a little more positive in his stride though, so can he knock this blue 2 ball in? Missed it by an absolute mile. I don't know why he's struggling so much. I don't know when he arrived in the States. I don't know if I've got any kind of jet lag going on or something, but you know, he won that big major in Germany, the European Open, not that long ago, so you expect him to come here with some decent form.
Well, he ran the rack to win his second rack earlier in this match, but other than that, he's not had any kind of real rhythm to his performance. Thought maybe that would jumpstart him, but it has not.
You see him hold his hand up there, but I can only think he was playing the bank and trying to play on the red 3 in the left centre, but having looked at where the ball finished, it was actually a clever two-way shot, even though he may not have played it.
Now the winner of this match will get the winner of Jeremy Seaman and Billy Gallagher, the 2 Americans currently competing against one another. That's also 3-2 in favor of Seaman at the moment.
Yeah, I think moving forward, Steve, I think we will see changes on the tour. I think these feature tables, I think we will need to bring the shot clock in. Just, you know, 9-ball pool and the players, they don't really play that slow, but I think when there's not a shot clock, you just instantly just look for more problems. That's what it seems to me when I'm sat in the commentary booth.
You can't help but overthink it with so much at stake, such a big event, so many questions might be running through your head, so you just take more time than you otherwise would, and then all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're kind of out of your game, you're out of your own comfort zone, and you're not playing at your best.
Yet again, not leaving the opponent an easy shot. He's got the jump cue though, so he's got to land the cue ball on top of the two here. There's no real space for the cue ball to land on. And he actually made his mind up pretty quick. Almost just grabbed the jump cue as he stood up. Now he's having a rethink. Oh, played to perfection from the Japanese jumper. Looks like he's going to need another one though. You could see the cue ball, it had to land on the two ball. There's not much landing space here as well, so the cue ball's going to be going near the three again.
Well, in terms of distance, a very similar shot to what he just hit.
Well, he is really coming with a shot, Steve, isn't he, in this match? We're only 5 racks in. He's played bank shots, jump shots, back-to-back jump shots in this rack.
It's been interesting. He's won the last 3 racks, but it hasn't felt like he's gone in a sustained run of any kind. But this might be the opportunity. What a swing in momentum and just the trajectory of this match. If he can close out the table and take a 4-2 lead.
Yep, nicely done. He couldn't put the cue ball any better for this pot in the side pocket. Not sure why the cue ball's finished there, but he's took care of it. Couple of jump shots. That's why Kenichi has found himself on this 9-ball in rack 6.
That is 4 unanswered racks for Kenichi Uchigaki. Fell behind 2-0, but now leads 4-2 over world number 11, David Alcaide from Spain. Could this be the first upset of the US Open unfolding here in just the second match of the day on table number 1 on day 1 at this 46th edition of this glorious major? And here is a look at the way the bracket stands, the early matches in progress, and so much taking place around this venue here at Harrah's Atlantic City on some of the outer tables in the ballroom. And we've already seen the world number 1, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz of Spain, with an easy 9-1 win over the American John Webber. Winner of this match will take on the winner of Jeremy Seaman and Billy Gallagher, the 2 Americans. They are right in the middle of the screen. They are deadlocked at 3 in their first round match. And one of a handful of tight matches taking place here. But also, as you would suspect, in this first day of competition, a lot of one-sided and decisive competitions with the top-ranked players bursting out to big leads. Shane Walford of the U.S. against Angelo Labronte of Italy is the match over on table number 2, where you can watch on our YouTube channel, and the American falling behind 5-4 in another tightly contested competition. Meanwhile, David Alcaide has to try to find a way to get the wheels back on the track here. Had a break and run to go up 2-0 at one point, and looked like he was finally establishing his presence and a flow to his game in mounting the early lead over Kenichi Uchigaki. But since then, things have completely flipped and turned around in the favor of the 54-year-old Tokyo sensation from Japan. Uchigaki now leading 4-2. And Labronte and Wolford now tied at 5 racks apiece over on table number 2. So the Italian and the American locked in a pretty hefty duel as they go to rack 11. First ever U.S. Open, held way back in 1976. The origins of the sport here in the U.S. down in Virginia, a few hours south of Atlantic City here. And this Harrah's venue, fabulous setting, and will only get better as this week unfolds. Just about an hour's drive southeast of Philadelphia, 2 hours south of New York City. So much action taking place on this first day. Starting at 10 a.m. local time, it'll finish just prior to that in the evening. 254 players starting the competition. Double elimination down to the last 64. Race to 9 on the winner's side. Loser side, it's the race to 8, and then once we get to the single elimination at that last 64 juncture, it'll be a race to 10 in the quarters, race to 11 in the semis, and race to 13 in the final. So Carl Uchigaki grabbing some momentum here for David Alcaide. What's going through his head?
Well, that's a good question, Steve, because he can't be feeling good out there. I think he's got to change something up. I think he probably knows that himself, because it's been pretty dire so far. He'll know he needs to change something, because so far it's just not been working. Oh, and this has stayed over the pocket. Even if it had gone in, he had a straight shot on the red 3, so it didn't really matter. And his last couple of breaks, he's actually made the 1 ball in the side himself.
Yeah, first 2 breaks, he made the 3 in the bottom right, and he failed to pot a ball in his second break, but since then, back-to-back 1s in the side pocket.
Pace is key. It's very easy to it's too thin, and then the cue ball runs away from you. Just sort of held it. I think he's okay. You can see the 6-9 combo he's not really on. That'd be quite difficult to make, so he wasn't playing for that, so that means he's under-hit the cue ball. That's left this little thin one. This feels like a big shot in this match. Oh, he's done well there. He's avoided clipping the 9 with a cue ball.
Yeah, could have also potentially led to a scratch, but he keeps himself alive and has to be careful here, but he's closing in. And what would be his first run of this match.
Is that the moment Mr. Alcaide has been waiting for?
That was a mishit off the jump. And now this could turn into the easiest rack that Alcaide has faced. Just have to pot 3 balls to get back into this. It can be a funny game. David Alcaide grinding, overthinking, struggling at times early on, just waiting for an opening, waiting for something good to happen. Uchigaki had run off 4 racks in a row to overcome a 2-0 lead, and then all of a sudden, when Uchigaki seemed to be in position to take his 5th consecutive rack, he makes a mistake, and that opening, all of a sudden, Alcaide back into it, and now it's 4-3. So much can shift on just one shot. And now the question is, what does it do for his confidence? Didn't have to accomplish a lot to win that rack, but does it change his mindset, change the dynamic and just the feel of the match overall?
Yeah, I think he's just happy to probably win a rack on the board. No shot on the 2, it's a good break. So here comes the push out. Doesn't have to play the push out, but obviously you would think he's going to. You always have to tell the referee or your opponent as well when they're playing the push out. You can't just get down and roll the cue ball. You have to make it known. Now the first scratch of the entire match. Yeah, from nowhere, looked like Kenichi was going to go 5-2 up. This is quite an easy 7-ball. And next rack scratches, and now Davy's got a good chance, but even now he still seems very indecisive.
Wasn't a difficult shot by any means, but you saw him sizing it up and just making sure he gets the contact point right. And this is opening up nicely for the Spaniard.
Got a tiny bit of angle, so I don't think he can just draw straight back. Well, I mean, he can draw straight back, but he's going to be drawing into the 9-ball. That's what I meant. Oh, it was perfect. What are you talking about, Ken?
I mean, you couldn't put ball on hand and place it any better than that. These last two racks have really come to Alcaide, where his first two wins, he's had to earn it more. He's really had to work, but Uchigaki has created the opportunities for his opponent here, and now the Spaniard is about to level. And it's 4-all on table number 1. And what swings of momentum, the pendulum going back and forth in this match. Alcaide won the first 2 racks, Uchigaki the next 4, and now Alcaide the last 2. Meanwhile, over on table number 2, also a tight battle and a good competition unfolding between the American Shane Wolford, who leads the Italian Angelo Labronte 6-5. And Wolford closing in on a 7-5 lead. Alcaide doesn't get the 1 ball in the side pocket, but he does get the 8 in the upper left. He's been so consistent in his breaks, just missing out on the 1 ball. Well, watch the 8 there.
What a chance this is. All the balls are sat perfect. Three ball. He's just coming round to have a look. See how much of the pocket he's got. Past the green 6, that is. Yeah, it must go. He's happy.
He's got the 4-7 lined up nicely. Draws it back well, and now just the 6 and the 9 left.
Now let's remember, Kenichi had that shot on the 7 ball, which looked like he was going to get to 5 first.
Now that is the second time in this match that David Alcaide has run the rack, and he has come back to win the last 3 racks in a row, and once again taken the lead for the second time. Now 5-4 in favor of the Spaniard. A seesaw match here on table number 1. Meanwhile, Shane Wolford next door on table 2 has opened up a 2-rack lead on the Italian, Angelo Labronte, 7-5. Alcaide on the break once again. And back to his familiar ways as he pockets the 1 on the side. And remember, in that last rack, he just missed out as the 1 nipped the corner. Was able to pocket the 8 in his last break, however, and that was the springboard to run the table.
Needless to say, push out incoming. Decision time. He will have the option to shoot this shot. He doesn't like it, he'll just simply pass it back. And as quick as a click of the switch, it's Kenichi who's got problems in this match now. Everything was going his way. His opponent David was struggling. And now he finds himself 1 behind. Yeah, that's okay. Smart shot. Not easy, this. Banking the ball back down the bottom end. You can see the wall of balls that are in the way. Do very well to miss one of them.
Yeah, can he bank it off that top rail and go bottom right? How much does the 8 come into play? Can he just skirt it? He tried to go the other way.
Yeah, I believe he tried to. He needed to find some gap there, didn't he? He nearly did.
Just a cluster of balls to navigate though now. Interesting. Can he use that bottom rail to take the red 3 into the side pocket? Or is that too big an ask?
Looking at 2 rail, trying to put the 8 in the side. Also just looking, if he hits the red 3, is the red 3 going to glance off the 8 and maybe go towards the top right corner? Oh, didn't hit it how he wanted, didn't even make contact with the 8 off the 3 ball. How's this landed?
A more direct shot now for Uchigaki on the 3, and which also served the purpose of spreading the others out a little bit more. Kind of a standoff here in rack number 10. Reminiscent of some of the earlier racks at the outset of this match between these two.
A little thick, but it's disappeared. It's a funny one, isn't it, Steve? It's not so much the Alcaide fight back and fabulous play. It was all about that rack at 4-2. And Kenichi missed that 7 ball. Just turn this match on its head. That's what can happen. Whenever you get chances in these type of matches, you've got to kill the racks off. You can't be making easy mistakes. You know, we all miss balls and we're entitled to make mistakes on the harder shots, but when you've got an open table, you simply just have to clear the table.
It's all about when you miss too, right? I mean, you can miss balls, but if you miss at crucial times in a rack, that can really be the killer. But it's so strange too. Uchigaki looked like he had some momentum when he had the back-to-back jump shots that went down for him.
That was very underrated, that shot. It was quite thin, and he didn't have another rail to contact to hold for the 6, so he had to really grip the cue ball. Look how steep that angle is.
Should have just enough room for the 7 here. Now that is just a little close, but it looks like .6-4. And you talk about the swings of momentum that can be put together in any given match. We go from Uchigaki winning 4 consecutive racks to Alcaide winning 4 straight racks. And now the Spaniard back in front at 6-4 here.
There's the wonderful arena for the 46th US Open Pool Championship. It's an event that is rich in history. It's almost like the #1 tournament on the calendar year. You can also put that alongside the World Pool Championships as well, but the US Open just feels special. There's some results going on the outside tables.
Now the winner of this match on table #1 will face either the American Jeremy Seaman or his fellow player from the US, Billy Gallagher. They are lockstep in a pretty good duel. 5 apiece going to rack number 11.
So, 2019 champion Joshua Filler is 5-2 up. Garcia from Italy, so his campaign is going nicely.
Tyler Steyer just getting underway against fellow American Franklin Hernandez. Steyer is certainly a name to watch and keep an eye on. world #1 Sanchez Ruiz from Spain with a 9-1 win over John Webber in our first match of the day on table #1. And now his fellow Spaniard David Alcaide, ranked #11 in the world, coming into the week with a 2-rack lead over Kenichi Uchigaki here on this showcase table on this first day of competition. Now the oldest major in the sport. And once again coming to Harrah's Atlantic City on the Jersey Shore in the Marina District of Atlantic City. First opened back in 1980 and now one of the premier venues along the Jersey Shore. And David Alcaide now trying to keep this momentum and stretch this lead as Uchigaki can only sit and watch. Once again, he pockets the 1. Fairly reliable off the break so far here today.
Yeah, he's been excels in that. On the break between these two. And if you're consistently making that one blow, yeah, you're not guaranteed a shot on the lowest ball, but what you are guaranteed is the next shot of the table. So it's definitely something that you should be practicing. It's called the push out. You could see he's looked at his opponent, he nodded in approval, and yet again Kenichi will play or pass the shot back.
Pretty good results either way for Uchigaki. Didn't have a really inviting option to begin with. Airborne for Alcaide. He'll go close to the jump bank here. This sets up very nice. You expect him to hit a point. Worst case scenario, he'll go close. He's hit both points. Wow. And he's left the opening now for Uchigaki here, but couldn't get much closer.
A little floaty one, yeah, have to be careful. The cue ball's always going to go forward. Just held it so it didn't hook behind the brown 7. Now can he avoid cannoning the 8 ball? I think he can. Pace is key. Doesn't want to run past the 5 ball because the 6 ball's up table. Yeah, you see how he stopped a little short of the angle? Now the path will just roll forward for the 6.
It's a nice roll. Good cue ball control.
This needs to bounce. Oh, this is a big mistake. Does he sneak past the 9-ball? He had loads of table to land in. Does it go, or is he playing the hook? It was a tight one.
Just couldn't do it. He's got the 9 as a blocker, but can Alcaide work around it?
Yeah, fortunate not to leave something easier, but if you're Alcaide, you've got to be happy you're just getting back to the table. It's easier said than done. Alcaide will feel a little bit robbed, but the reality is you would rather be playing this shot than be watching your opponent slot an easy 9-ball in. Just looking to see if he can clip it thin enough to play the safety. This match has been a tale of two tapes, but it's still in the balance. There you see how thin it was. How's the pace? Full ball hook would be lovely. Yep, that is okay. It's more than okay.
You get to the business end of the rack here, and it creates a lot of stress and anxiety knowing that every shot could be your last on the table.
This is one of the most difficult situations in the game. 2 balls left, very difficult to play safe. Safe meaning get the hook. How do you attack the table? If you do play the bank shot, and that's if the bank goes, how do you get on the 9-ball? So you may just bank the 8-ball back up to the bottom rail. Pace is key with that shot. It's what we call a containing safety. He's backed off so many of these shots throughout the match.
Uchigaki might have the opportunity here. Certainly doesn't want to let Alcaide get out to a 3-rack lead, even though he has come back and won 4 consecutive racks earlier in this match. How many times can you realistically do that in a given game?
That is not what he intended. Wow, has he been fortunate there? Alcaide can't even get out of his chair. That could have gone anywhere. Such a big rack as well. Just the way the match has gone, it's actually not a surprise that's happened.
Yeah, we've seen a few good breaks and some lucky rolls in this match, but that might be the biggest for Uchigaki. Not what he had intended, but I don't know if he could have placed it any better given the circumstances.
This is very difficult to get safe. I'm not saying he should just give it a good old whack, but it might not be the worst option.
It's one thing when you're playing safe early in the rack on the 2 or the 3 and you still have a lot of congestion on the table, but at this point where it could be your final shot, a lot more to consider.
Well, that's why I'm sat in and Alcaide isn't, because give it a good old whack was clearly not the shot. Played a beauty there. He's a shot.
And these two players have basically just been exchanging sides of the waiting for the right opportunity and trying to deny their opponent in the process. Now, during the course of this sequence, this is probably the best look that either player has now had. Alcaide an opportunity with 2 good shots here back to back to open up a 3-rack lead.
Does he attack this one? Early part of this match he was refusing shots. There he is, he's back up again. Come on, David, you're capable of slotting this one in the pocket.
And we talked about the lack of the shot clock earlier. If this was one of those matches where a shot clock was in place, Alcaide would have exceeded it on several occasions by now. That's how much he's laboring and considering some of these shots
could still play thin off it. I'm not saying he has to attack it. Maybe he should have played safe. No, I mean, listen, if you're not feeling it, I suppose, why should you attack the table? I didn't fancy him potting it, just the way his mannerisms have been in this one, and it wasn't even close, to be honest.
Almost got a break as the 8 came back and glanced off the cue ball. Could have gone side pocket, but no such luck. And unlike Alcaide, Uchigaki wasting no time. Depositing the 8, and now this to get back to within 1 rack. And the battle rolls on. Uchigaki from Japan, Alcaide from Spain. What a battle. In their first matches of this US Open. And just 1 rack separating these two as they go to number 12. And Carl, as we noted earlier, on day 1 of an event like this, it's easy and almost expected that you're going to see momentum and confidence and quick matches, but this particular match has really been devoid of consistent momentum and rhythm. It's just bounced back and forth.
Yeah, a little surprising the fact that Alcaide is coming into this event having won our last Open event, European Open. I mean, usually the players who are in form kind of continue that, but he's looked like a player who's got the world on his shoulders. Not just the biggest event in the sport, US Open. After this event, we will also know the second player who will be named for Team Europe and USA for December's Mosconi Cup. So there's a lot at stake here this week.
Now, unlike Alcaide, Uchigaki has not been as consistent on the break here today. So that turns the table over to the Spaniard. Second of 3 automatic spots for each nation for the Mosconi Cup coming at the end of this US Open, and then following the Hanoi Open as the Pro Tour goes to Vietnam for the first time. Everyone excited about that event coming up shortly.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what players are lurking over that part of the world, because we know Nineball pool is very popular in Vietnam, so the Hanoi Open is going to prove to be a spectacular tournament over there. It's a good safety shot from David.
And after the Hanoi Open, that'll be the final automatic spot for both Team Europe and Team USA. And then it'll be just left down to the 2 wildcard picks for each nation.
Yeah, of course, Jeremy Jones, captain of USA, is here. Part of our commentary team, so he'll be keeping an eye on the USA players. Also, Ralph Eckert, European Mosconi Cup team captain, is also here. So there's a lot going on here. Not just history, not just the US Open. All the prizes that come alongside it in the world of professional 9-ball pool. For viewers who have maybe not enjoyed this match, you think it's been a bit slow and a bit one-sided, back and forth one-sided, I mean, it won't stay like this. Well, this has been an enthralling match because we just don't know who's going to win. Oh, the cue ball's got away from him, found that little gap.
That's his second scratch of the match. Yeah, this has been extremely unpredictable and very calculated. Very cagey between these two. Alcaide has run 2 racks so far in establishing this 6-5 lead. And what's unusual is when you have a match like that where a player has run a couple of racks, usually you associate that with momentum and a player playing with pace and confidence and just consistency, but that has not been the case with Alcaide here today. He has had to work a lot harder than some of those early scores would indicate.
Oh, these balls are just that in prime location. The next 3 or 4 shots are all stop shots, really. 8 to the 9 ball. If it's going to go wrong, it will go wrong because he's not gotten the 9 ball nicely. Often when you see the 8 ball up the top end of the table, players leave themselves on a 50-yard line pot on the 9. But if he can get the cue ball up towards the top on the right hand side, this rack should be over.
Table opened up nicely for him early. Uchigaki failed to get a pot off the break. And things a little more straightforward here in this rack than what we've seen here in the last few for this Spanish player.
Yeah, as long as he comes over to the right hand side and leaves an angle, he'll just stun down the left side of the table. Didn't really hit that good. That's why you see that tiny little slam of the chalk on the table. That's the angle he's faced with. He did the cue ball another foot over. Now he's got a bit of work to do. Cue ball is closer to the rail than he wanted. So about staying still on this shot.
So Alcaide runs it, and back to a 2-rack lead. Inching forward, crawling towards the 9 racks. Technically, it's the race to 9, but this feels more like the crawl to 9, the way this match has developed here at the U.S. Open. 7-5 now in favor of the Spaniard. Number 11 in the world, and also fighting for his spot on the Mosconi Cup team for Europe. He has competed in the Mosconi Cup on 3 different occasions, way back in 2006 as well as 2017, and then again 3 years ago. He was the first ever Spanish player to represent Team Europe at the Mosconi Cup. You competed in what, 3 or 4 Mosconi Cups?
4 I competed in.
You never lost, did you?
Never lost.
Yeah.
Must have been the lucky charm.
Yeah.
An unusual dry break.
Now, the only time on the break for Alcaide today where he didn't pot the 1, he was able to pocket the 8 to keep the table, but no such luck here.
Main thing is when you do have a dry break and you go and sit back down in your chair, your opponent's hooked. It's always a nice feeling, that. Remember that. Yeah, the beauty of these events, the big multi-table events, is the fact that you can literally get to any table in the arena, really close to the table as well, to watch all the action. So what you'll find is the fans that are here watching will congregate around the table that's getting close, and then they'll all shift over to the other side of the room because maybe another table's a close match. So as this match gets near the end, all the fans will be around the table. 2 Americans have shared the opening 2 racks on table 2, Frankie Hernandez and Tyler Steyer. Tyler Steyer won the Texas Open just a few weeks ago, so he's another player coming in here with form and trying to get his way back on that side for Team USA.
Well, it's always a heavy burden when you come to an event like this. Not only is it such a prestigious event in its own right, the oldest major in the sport, and by all accounts the signature event in 9-ball, but while you're trying to stay in the moment and remember that this event is that enormous by itself, it also carries the weight of that automatic spot on the Mosconi Cup team. So there's so much to play for, so much at stake. Always on the minds of these players throughout this very long week. 6 days of competition in all.
Said it before, you're never going to play a tournament where you just steamroll the field and play lights out. You're going to play matches where it's been easy. We've seen that with the world number 1, the defending champion, Sanchez Ruiz, who's actually not played the last couple of events. He's had kidney stones, he's had an operation. I was speaking to him last night. He's had an operation, had the kidney stones removed. So he's still in a little bit of discomfort, he said, but good to see him back here and, of course, defending his title.
Still waiting for the first pot here in rack number 13.
It's been the story of the match, hasn't it, Steve, this one? No players been able to get easy tables off the break, but this is why this break rule has been voted in by the players, actually. The bosses of the World Nineball Tour put it to the players, give them 3 or 4 options and said, listen, you know better than us, you pick the best break for the sport, and this was voted. And you can see why, because you see break and runs, you see a few clusters, you get to see a little bit more of the game, but not too much. We don't want to be sat here all day, do we? We've got Starbucks to go to, Steve.
It feels like it, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it won't always be like this.
Well, this is one of those matches where every rack has told a different story. We haven't seen one like the previous one. The one that followed was so different than the one we just saw. It's really been a match that's featured just about everything that the sport can offer.
Yeah, when you get a player who's not quite on his game, this is what you see. A lot of second guessing, players up and down, undecided. They feel like the angle's not really there to get on the next ball, even though it probably is. It's not an easy game. And it's definitely not an easy game if you're struggling. Found a nice gap there, though.
It's something we have seen a few different times. The gamesmanship and the back and forth here early in the rack, trying to just get into it, get engaged.
As we can all see, he's lost a cue ball, but he's proved he's a good banker of the ball. This is going to set up nicely for Alcaide. Has he got an angle to get down on the pink 4? It looks quite straight to me.
Yeah, heavy pace on that last shot from Uchigaki. He's got to be careful here during the course of this rack, because despite those swings of the pendulum and the fact that he has run off as many as 4 racks in a row during the course of this match, he has never been down by more than 2 racks at a time. And if Alcaide goes on a run here, all of a sudden he can find himself on the hill leading by 3, and then Uchigaki is really in trouble.
Having to draw the ball with. He would have liked to have gone forward, but the 9-ball's in the way. Here comes the spin. It's just died a little bit on him. That's because the balls are new and the cloth's new. Doesn't bite the same yet. Will do in a couple of days though. Alcaide will grind on all his experience here. Years and years of playing. Being in the pit. One decent shot here. Played the cue ball off 2 rails. Above the middle. Yeah, that's good. He's got to be feeling a lot better about his work now.
Now this is as quickly as I think we've seen him play as well in a while. Shots feel more straightforward to him at the moment. And more clarity coming to this match now. And I think both sides can probably feel it. An exhale from the Spaniard as he leads by 3 racks for the first time in this match, and he is on the hill here in round number 1 with the 8-5 lead over Ken Uchigaki. Number 11 player in the world, David Alcaide from Spain, who first started playing the sport at the age of 5. And so many huge accomplishments throughout his career. A 2-time World Pool Masters champion, 3 times on the Mosconi Cup, semi-finalist at the World Championships 2 years ago. For all of his struggles and just getting off his game at times here today. And this is the best spot he has been in. Breaking for what he hopes will be the final rack. And then if he does move on, he will face an American coming up in the second round, either Jeremy Seaman or Billy Gallagher. They are even at 7 racks apiece going on here at the moment. Tightest match in the hall.
Why would he have a shot on the blue too? Just hasn't happened the whole match. Very rare. Again, the push out.
Yeah, the 2 has been tough here today. He gets it He's got the 5 as a blocker. And Alcaide. There's not a lot of attractive possibilities here. Would certainly love to open things up and ensure that this is the final rack of this match.
It's close. And again, doesn't leave a pot.
Now, the one thing that each player here has maybe done the best is make things difficult for the other. And now the first clear lane opening up for David Alcaide.
Yeah, just needs a good shot here. If you can get ideal on the red 3, ideal meaning needs this angle. Looks a bit strong. Yeah, what is an angle? Now he's got a bit of work to do. But if you can put a big draw stroke on this and draw it right back off the top rail and then back out for the pink 4. Jacked up as well.
Now this match just about 2.5 hours old.
Can't say I'm surprised the way the match has gone.
You see his displeasure. It's about as animated as he has been. Can he use this rail? Yeah, not the way he would have liked.
So, chance for the match has gone. Uchigaki would have loved the cue ball to stop behind the 7. Now both players with some unforced errors here in this rack. I think this ball will cut. I don't think he attempts the cut because the safety is quite easy. Just split the balls, use the 9 and the 8 ball as blockers. This is what he's doing. And he's done it very good indeed. think we'll be seeing the jump cue.
Oh. Just too heavy. Rattled in and out several different times as it rocked the corners.
It's not an easy chance to jump shot, but I don't know, when it's near the pocket, you always fancy you're going to pot it, so when you miss them, you feel like it's a little chance gone away.
Well, after fighting for positions early in this rack, things finally falling for Uchigaki and opening up to give him an opportunity to stay in this match. Meanwhile, over on table number 2, Tyler Steyer, who was down early to his fellow American Franklin Hernandez, has ripped off several in a row and now out to a 5-2 lead in his first match.
This is not ideal. I can assure you, this is a thin 9-ball. Thin 9-ball to stay in this match. And it's there.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Uchigaki hanging around, forcing yet another rack. Alcaide not able to get over the hill and to 9 here in that previous rack. So it's now 8-6, and we go to rack 15 here in this first round matchup.
Day 1 of the 46th US Open Pool Championships. This pool tournament is stacked with history. All kinds of past legends have won this event. Earl the Pearl Strickland, 5-time champ. SVB Shane Van Bonen, 5-time champ. And SVB will be playing today. And I think he will be playing next on our feature table. I'll just double check. Yeah, he's following this match. SVB, he's playing Andrew Finnegan from USA. Here are some results. Lucas Francastle-Verna, 5-1 over Scott Frost. Koping Yi is getting his campaign underway. He's one to watch, 6-1 over Sean Morgan. Fusion Pearl Ivanovic flying 7-1 over Josef Mapudit. Tyler Steyer going along nicely. He's actually just took another rack, so that match is now 6-2. Anthony Braga, the young gun from the Philippines, been doing really well on the circuit these past 3 months. He's won the opening rack in his match. Moritz Neuhausen won the last ranking event up in Connecticut. Cooley's Open, 7-2 over Matt Ross. Matt Beisterbosch just starting his match out against Murat Shawi. Beisterbosch got to the final of the Spanish Open, lost to Dang Junhui. And good to see Chan Yulong, class player from Chinese Taipei. 4-2 up over Vitum Arizinage. Trenton White, the young gun from Florida, USA, tied at 3-3 against Miguel Silva. It's all happening here on day 1 of the 46 US Open Pool Championship. If you missed the first match of the day, defending champ, world number 1, world champ, pretty much won everything in the sport of 9-ball in the last 18 months. He won his match quite easy, so Ruiz is through to round 2. 256 players started, and it's all about trying to get through the double elimination format and get your name in the hat for the single elimination rounds. Players just took a break, and actually David Alcaide. There he is, walking back in the arena. 8-6 lead. Kenichi won the last rack, so he will be breaking.
Now this match coming up on 3 hours, so I'm not surprised if they ran out for lunch. I mean, it's about that time, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, I bet we're approaching record time here. I bet this is the longest race to 9 match we've had on tour. Cue ball. That is horrible to see. Not for David Alcaide, of course.
And it's the 3rd time that Uchigaki has scratched here today. 2nd time on a break, he's failed to pot one. And so the early opening here will fall to the Spaniard. Still on the hill, looking to close things out.
Quick glance around the table tells me that the 7-ball looks like a key ball in this rack. I don't know if he can play some sort of cannon at some point and stay on his next ball. Maybe if he can get the cue ball on the side rail, he could pot it, but we'll see what David chooses to do in a moment. I know one thing for sure, he'll be glad to get this match out the way. And it's a match where you can't really take too much from it. He won't be disheartened. He'll probably, if he goes on to win still, surprise him, but he'll just walk out the arena with his cue, probably just shake his head and wonder what that performance was all about.
Now, so much of these matches, too, is about the way things finish, the way they wind up and close out a match, finish off a victory, and that dictates a lot of the feeling when you walk out of the hall, and so much can happen earlier. But if you end on that kind of a positive note, it can certainly psychologically be a big boost.
Got a bit of an angle here. Is he just going to roll forward? Wow. Wow. Couldn't see the miss coming.
Well, didn't see the miss coming, but he's got the 9 as a blocker here.
You could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to break free that brown 7. Got fortunate, but this has been the story of the match. Both players, when mistakes have come, have got away with it.
Yeah, that 9 is served as a blocker more often than you typically see, and several of the racks that these two have gone through.
Look how elevated he's got to be here. Doesn't need to play the jump shot. He's got a 2-rail kick available.
Yeah, rethinking things here. And we've seen that a lot here today between these two players, standing over the shot and then thinking about it a second and even a third and fourth time on a few different occasions.
Yeah, this is the 2-rail kick. I was thinking, as long as it's top side, may pot the ball. Yeah, good things could happen going that way. Good things have happened. Kenichi Uchigaki is still in this match. It's only 8-6.
Can he find just the right spot on the rail here?
That was very close. Here's another look. Look how close this 4-ball is. work out okay.
Well, things coming together for Uchigaki, and for that man, David Alcaide. Boy, the frustration has mounted on so many different occasions here today. And he has been dismayed by some of the shots he's had to play. And now staring at what could be a much closer match here. Had an 8-5 lead, was on the hill, looking good to close things out, but now Ken Uchigaki on the doorstep of, once again, making this a match that goes down to the wire. "15 racks in a race to 9, and it's still to be decided. 8-7 now for the 11th ranked player in the world, David Alcaide, over the Tokyo sensation, 54-year-old Ken Uchigaki, who for the second time in this match has won multiple racks in a row. He's won the last 2 here. Earlier he won 4 in a row, and David Alcaide just can't shake him. Now when you have a race to 9, there are only so many moments that you can look back and say, well, that was a pivotal, particular time in the match. But in this match, it seems like we've had a bundle of them. Uchigaki looking to send this match to a deciding rack. Could we have a hill-hill match in just the second match of the tournament on table 1?
Dry break, I believe.
And they also had that, remember, in the last rack, but he scratched on the cue ball. That'll work out just fine for Alcaide, as so often has been the case in this match. That's what these early shots have led to. A lot of calculation and just safety first.
A lot of balls are still on the table though, so if you can get contact, there's always an outside chance you will get away with this. That's the way you've got to be thinking.
To give you an idea of the slow, methodical pace of this match, this is the second match of the day on table number 1. When this match began, there was another match going on table number 2 next to it. That match ended. Another match eventually started, and that match is almost over, while our match is still very much in the balance.
Yeah, it won't always stay this way. Don't be worried too much. This has just been a complete grind. It really has.
David Alcaide has run the table a couple of different times, but the issue has been the trouble he's run into in those other racks. Still looking for the first pot here in rack 16.
Yeah, you can see there he's not happy where the cue ball's gone, just because he's jacked up, but it's not the end of the world. It's not something you've got to completely worry about. Still got an angle to come round for the 3 in the left centre pocket. 3 ball goes in the top right corner.
Picking out his spot where he wants to spin the cue ball back up the table towards the purple 5.
Cue ball needs to settle down a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. Well, this is just a glorious chance now to finally put this match to bed. What a grind this has been. And for somebody who's coming here with loads of confidence after winning the European Open, even Alcaide will be glad to see the back of this match.
He's going to make sure he has a clean rail here.
Yeah, I don't really like it when the players do that. Almost like brushes a bit of a pathway in case you miss it.
Right.
I'm not saying he's going to hit it that slow, but almost like you've made a little channel so the ball hugs the rail.
Like a golfer picking up leaves in the line of his ball. This should finally bring it to an end, I believe. Barring any kind of a mistake from David Alcaide. Nothing Uchigaki can do now.
That's going to be good enough, Steve. It's been a grind, it's been a long match. It's had a little bit of everything, but overall, we've still had the drama that 9-ball pool can produce.
David Alcaide playing a lot of pool here to get through to the second round and play in the winner's bracket. Uchigaki will not be eliminated. He'll go to the consolation bracket. And what a battle they had. It took 16 racks and almost 3 hours. But David Alcaide, the 44-year-old Spaniard, 11th ranked player in the world, does prevail in the race to 9. He beats Uchigaki 9-7 here on table number 1.